Hello students, today I'll be teaching social science of 8th standard, and in 8th standard social science there are 6 parts, that is history, political science, geography, sociology, economics and business studies. Today I'll be teaching chapter 1 of history part, that is sources. In this lesson we learn about sources required to the study of history, types of sources of history, importance of the archaeological sources, importance of the Halmidi inscription, importance of oral sources in history. Let us study about one by one. Now, what is history? History is nothing but it is a systematic study of the past. The word history, it is derived from the ancient Greek word, that is historia, means inquiry, means knowledge from inquiry or judge. And history, it is written on the basis of sources. Hence, if there is no source, no history. Sources are like the stands of history. Stands in the sense they are the posture or position of history. And here historians, they are like an advocate. Advocate in the sense they are like supporters. Historians collect the sources, subject them to critical examination, analysis, and then they write the history. Whenever direct sources are not available, they need to make assumptions based on the available sources. Assumptions in the sense they should accept based on the available sources. Hence, often an event is analyzed from different perspectives by different historians. Now, what is a source? The things used by human beings in the past have remained, they are called the sources. Human beings, they had created many facilities to lead their life since ancient times, means since from the past times. The things used by the human beings in the past that have been remained, then they are called as the sources by historians. Hence, the agricultural tools left by the earlier people like forts, coins, inscriptions, arms means weapons, temples and other religious buildings are considered as sources to write history. Likewise, the written documents and literary works are the main sources of history, and here the materials which is needed for writing of history are the primary sources, means they are the first sources, and these sources they have been divided into two, that is literary sources and archaeological sources. And again, literary sources they have been divided into two types, that is written literature and oral literature. And again, written literature has been divided into two types, that is native literature and then foreign literature. Now let us go to the next second, that is archaeological sources, and here archaeological sources are divided into four types, that is inscriptions, coins, monuments and other ruins. Now, literary sources. In literary sources, the first type is written literature. Okay, literary sources is nothing but they are the very important sources. Okay, in that written literature, it is the form of human expression through writing. And here written literature, it is the main source of literary sources. Literature can bring the contemporary social life. Contemporary means modern social life of the times of written alive to us. A writer which has been written, which brings alive to us. A literary work portraits. Portrait means they show the then existing, means at that time existing aspects of life, either directly or indirectly. And there are two types in literary forms, that is native literature and foreign literature. What is native literature? The literature which has been created by Indians in native languages, means in local languages, it is called as the native literature. Like literary works in Sanskrit, Prakrit, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, Marathi, Kashmiri, Gujarati, Oriya, and in many others native languages, they are the very important native sources. Okay, it has been written or it has been created in the native languages. For example, here Kalhana's Rajatarangini, Mudra Rakshasa's Vishakadatta, Kautilya's Arthashastra. Here Kautilya, he is the chief advisor as well as the prime minister of the Chandragupta. And other few examples are King Hala's Gata Saptasati. It's nothing but it is the collection of Indian poems and it is in Prakrit language. And again Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasa, it is about Chandragupta Maurya. And Kalhana's Rajatarangini, Banabhatta's Arshacharita, Barani's Tariq Hai Firuz Shahi, Chand Bardai's Prithviraja Raso, Pampa's Vikramarjuna Vijaya, Sangam literature and many other such literary works. It can be named as native literature. These are the very few important examples of native literature. And these works, portraits, means these important works shows then in the sense means at that time contemporary social life, religious life, economic life, cultural as well as the political life of the people. Means it explains, it expresses the past people's life, ancient people's, the way of living of lives in the local languages. That is called as native literature. Next is foreign literature. Here many foreigners who have been visited India as travelers or ambassadors. Ambassadors andre rayabharigalu anta, diplomats, businessmen, officials and missionaries. Missionaries means they are the preachers. They have recorded their own observations and experiences in their works. Andre foreigners ivaga bere country inda nam country ge visit ಮಾಡಿ ಲೈಫ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಟ್ರಾವೆಲರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ಗೆ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ಸ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್ನ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ದಿ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಲಿಟರೇಚರ್. Examples of foreign literatures are Megasthenes Indica, Fahian's Gokhoki, Hyansang's Siyoki, Ptolemy's Geography, Ferista's Tariq Hai Ferista, Babur's Tazk-i Babri and others are the very important sources of foreign literature. And apart from these, even there are many other writings which serves as the sources. And in these works also one can glare means it gives we can look at the depiction of then contemporary social life, political life, economic, cultural as well as the administrative aspects. Here similarly in foreign literature there is lack of local knowledge. Okay, there is lack of absence of or shortage of local knowledge, and here many misgivings, means many distress are recorded, and these are the drawbacks. Okay, these are the drawbacks of written literary sources. Means here the historians, they have the challenge of writing history keeping in mind all these limitations. There'll be certain limitations here. There are many drawbacks, means they are they are lack of local knowledge. So here the historians, they should depend on whatever they have been gained the available resources. And this is about the native literature and foreign literature. Now let us move on to the second literary sources, that is oral literature. Oral literature, it means the folk story, folk legends, ballads or other that pass on from one person to another by words of mouth. For example, let us take a grandparents. ಈಗ grandparents, they'll share their life experiences. ಅಂದರೆ ಪಾಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಲೈಫ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಸ್ಟೋರೀಸ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಓರಲಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಫ್ಯೂಚರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಿಡ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಓರಲ್ literature. It may be like folk story, or it may be like folk legends, ballads. And ballads, it's nothing but it is a long song or poem that tells a story. Means it passes from one person to another person by word of mouth. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಂದ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಓರಲ್ ಲಿಟರೇಚರ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಂದರೆ ಬಾಯಿಂದ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಂದ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಬ್ಬರಿಂದ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ವೈಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಲೆಜೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ವೈಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬ್ಯಾಲೆಡ್ಸ್ ವೈಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ಒಬ್ಬರಿಂದ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಓರಲ್ ಲಿಟರೇಚರ್. Since the beginning of human life, human beings are passing on their experiences in the form of story, or in the form of songs, or in the form of ballads, orally from generation to generation. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಜನರೇಷನಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಜನರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಫೋಕ್ people have created ballads. Folk people, they have been created the ballads about their local heroes ಬಗ್ಗೆ, local heroes ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಪಾಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅಶೋಕ ಅನ್ನೋರು ಅಂದರೆ he is a great ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಆ ಥರ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಹೀರೋಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ವೈಸ್ ಆ ಸಾಂಗ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಕುಮಾರ ರಾಮ. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಫ್ಯೂ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಕುಮಾರ ರಾಮ, ದ ನಾಯಕಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗ, ಕೆಂಪೇಗೌಡ, ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನ್, ಸಂಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ರಾಯಣ್ಣ, ಕಿತ್ತೂರು ಚೆನ್ನಮ್ಮ, ಸಿಂಧೂರ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಣ, ಮಿಡೋಸ್ ಟೇಲರ್ and others. Okay, there are few examples, okay, of ballads. Okay, and here legends mean the local mythological stories. Okay, legends ಅಂದರೆ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೋರೀಸ್, ದಂತಕಥೆಗಳು ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಮಿಥಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ is nothing but like it's like traditional stories. ಎವ್ರಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ಲೆಜೆಂಡ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಈಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಗೂ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಆದ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ದಂತಕಥೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಲೆಜೆಂಡರಿ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಲೆಟಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಕೋಲಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗ ಯಾವ ಟೆಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಫೇಮಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸೋಮೇಶ್ವರ ಟೆಂಪಲ್ಲು ಫೇಮಸ್ಸು, ಮತ್ತು ಕೋಲಾರಮ್ಮ ಟೆಂಪಲ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಫೇಮಸ್. ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ಲೆಜೆಂಡರಿ ಸ್ಟೋರೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಲೆಜೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ದಿ ನೇಮ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ well as the places like ಶ್ರವಣಬೆಳಗೊಳ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು, ಕೊಪ್ಪಳ, ಪಟ್ಟದಕಲ್ಲು, ಗೋಕರ್ಣ and ಮೈಸೂರು. Similarly, every village and town have their own legends. ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ಗೂ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಆದ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಿಟಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಟೌನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ಗೂ ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಲೆಜೆಂಡರಿ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು I'll end this class with oral literature, and in the next class I'll be continuing archaeological sources, and there will be homework, a few questions based on this lesson, and it will be mentioned in your ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಡೆಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡಿ.